Don't carry yesterday's pain. The morning sun crept through the gaps in the old curtains, painting golden lines across the worn-out carpet. Jaden sat at the edge of his bed, hands clasped together, staring at the floor as though it held all the answers he'd spent years searching for. He wasn't old, not in the traditional sense. 33, fit, more or less, hair a little thinner than it used to be. But his eyes told a different story. They were tired. Not the kind of tired a nap could fix, but the deep, aching kind. The kind that roots itself in your chest and lives there. 10 years had passed since that night. The night everything changed. He could still hear the tires screeching, still feel the cold metal against his skin, still see the blood, his brother's blood, pooling on the sidewalk. Logan had been his best friend, his anchor, gone in an instant because Jaden had insisted on driving after a few drinks, convinced he was fine. He'd served his time, 2 years in prison, but the real sentence had come after. The guilt, the self-loathing, the silent rage. Every relationship he tried to build crumbled under the weight of what he carried. That morning, like so many others, he looked in the mirror and whispered the same sentence he'd been repeating for a decade. "I'm sorry," but no one answered. No forgiveness came, only silence. That afternoon, Jaden received a letter, a real one, not an email or text message. The handwriting was familiar, though he hadn't seen it in years. It was from his mother. "Jaden, I know we haven't spoken much. It's been hard, for all of us, but there's something I need you to do. I'm selling the cabin. Before I let it go, I want you to go there, just for a few days. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but I think it's time. Love, Mom." The cabin. Their family's old retreat in the woods of Maine. He hadn't been there since Logan died. He didn't want to go, but something inside tugged at him, a quiet, persistent voice that said maybe it was time. The drive was long and quiet. Miles of trees blurred past the windows as memories stirred like ghosts. Jaden arrived at dusk. The cabin stood just as he remembered, weathered but still standing, tucked between pine trees and wrapped in silence. Inside, dust clung to the furniture. A stack of photo albums lay on the coffee table. The smell of old wood and pine needles filled the air. He lit a fire, not for warmth, but for comfort. The crackle of the flames was the only sound. That night, Jaden dreamed of Logan, not the accident, but a memory. They were kids, maybe 10 and 12, racing through the woods behind the cabin, barefoot and laughing. Logan had tripped and scraped his knee. Jaden helped him up, and Logan grinned, blood running down his shin. "You gotta let it go, Jay," Logan said in the dream, voice soft. Jaden woke with tears on his cheeks. The next morning, he walked to the lake. The path was overgrown but familiar. The water was still reflecting the sky like a mirror. That's where he saw her. A woman, maybe in her late 20s, sitting on the old dock with a notebook in her lap. She looked up as he approached. "Didn't think anyone else came out here," she said. "I could say the same." She smiled. "I'm Riley." "Jaden." They didn't say much more. She went back to her writing, and he sat a few feet away, staring at the water. Eventually, she stood. See you around? He nodded. Over the next few days, their paths kept crossing at the lake, on the trail, by the old fire pit. Slowly, words turned into conversations. She was a writer, she told him, working on a book about forgiveness. That's a tough subject, he said. Isn't it though? She replied, smiling. Everyone wants it. Few understand it. He didn't tell her about Logan. Not yet. But something about Riley made him want to. One night, as they sat under the stars, she asked, "What are you running from?" He hesitated. Then he told her everything. Riley didn't look away, didn't recoil. She listened, eyes soft. "And you've been carrying that pain every day since?" she asked. Yes. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You're not the only one who's lost someone. I lost my sister in a car crash 5 years ago." "I'm sorry," he said. She wasn't driving, Riley said. Her boyfriend was. He lived, and for a long time, I hated him. But one day, I realized something. My hatred wasn't punishing him. It was punishing me. Every single day. What changed? I let it go, not because he deserved forgiveness, but because I deserved peace. Jaden sat by the fire that night, alone. Riley's words echoed in his head. He'd been punishing himself for 10 years, convinced he didn't deserve peace, that his pain was a penance. But what if it wasn't helping anyone? What if it was just a chain he kept locking himself in? He pulled out one of the old photo albums, page after page of childhood. Birthdays, snowball fights, Logan laughing with cake on his face. He found a blank page in the back. He wrote one line, "I don't want to carry this anymore." The next morning, Jaden walked to the lake before sunrise. Riley wasn't there. He didn't expect her to be. He stood at the edge of the dock, staring at the water. He pulled a small piece of paper from his pocket. On it, he had written everything he'd never said to Logan. "I'm sorry for that night. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I miss you every day. But I need to let you go." He folded the paper and set it on the water. It floated for a moment, then slowly sank. And for the first time in a decade, something inside him loosened. Jaden stayed at the cabin for another 2 days. He and Riley talked more, laughed more. He didn't tell her everything but enough. She understood. When he finally packed to leave, he walked to the lake one last time. Riley was there. "Going home?" she asked. "I think so." Finally. She stood and hugged him. It wasn't romantic. It was human. Healing. "Don't carry yesterday's pain," she said. "It's not yours anymore." Back in the city, things didn't magically fix themselves. His job was still hard, his apartment was still small, but something had shifted. He started seeing a therapist, reconnected with his mother, sent a letter to Logan's fiancée, apologizing, not expecting forgiveness but offering honesty. Most importantly, he started writing. Journals, mostly, but it helped. One day, a letter arrived. No return address. "Jaden, thank you for your letter. It brought back pain, yes, but also peace. I forgive you. And I think Logan would too. Take care of yourself, Emma." He cried for an hour after reading it, but they were good tears. Years later, Jaden returned to the cabin. It had been sold, yes, but he rented it for a weekend. He brought someone with him, his daughter, Logan Grace, named after his brother. They walked the path to the lake, hand in hand. She skipped stones while he watched the sun dip behind the trees. "I like it here," she said. "It's quiet." "It is," he smiled, and inside, where the pain had once lived, there was something new. Peace. Pain is part of life. It molds us, teaches us, but it is not meant to be a permanent weight. Too many walk through life shackled to a yesterday they can't change. But healing doesn't erase the past, it sets it down. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without reliving. Jaden learned that healing is not an instant event, it's a journey. But that journey begins the moment you decide, "I won't carry this anymore."